Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In my last video, I listed all the types of work permits that you can choose from if you want to come to Canada on a work visa with your family and start a new life. If you haven't already, I suggest you take a look at that video so you know exactly which pathway suits you and your family the best. In continuation to it, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can apply for these work permits from outside Canada, including valuable information like the names of the forms that need to be filled, where you can get them from, all the other requirements, and the step-by-step instructions to fill in your application forms in detail so you know exactly what you should fill in them while creating your work permit application. And I'll also be clarifying some of the common queries that people have on work permit applications and if they can create applications for dependent family members also, like a spouse or a child. Now, if you choose an immigration agent or consultant to fill in your work permit application form, they charge you hundreds of dollars and in some cases even thousands of dollars depending on where you're applying from to fill up a really simple form. And I'm going to show you exactly how simple it is to fill in all the sections of this form, so do watch the video till the end to save your money. Now, securing a work permit is a great option for those people who don't have a high CRS score or if they can't fulfill all the requirements for the Express Entry or PNP programs. Getting a work permit may also be a faster option compared to going for the Express Entry or PNP programs, and many PNP programs, especially the paper-based ones, take quite a long time to process. The great thing about getting a work permit is that after you get a little work experience in Canada through your work permit, you can even apply for your permanent residency with your Canadian work experience, and since you already have a job or a job offer in Canada, your profile will be given preference and you'll get your PR easily. So if you are one of these people and you're looking to immigrate to Canada with your family on a work permit, do watch the video till the end as I've listed everything you need to know to fill in your work permit application from outside Canada in this video. Hey guys, this is Jason from Dream Canada. If you're new to the channel, I show people how to save their money and immigrate to new countries through my videos without the help of any immigration consultants or agents or lawyers. You can find all process instructions for you to apply on your own through this channel. Subscribe now because all the information provided here is completely free and I answer all your queries in the comments section and on my social handles on Instagram and Twitter, so don't forget to follow us there as well. Let us first start with what a work permit actually is and why you need it. If you want to work in Canada and if you don't have your permanent residency or citizenship, then you'll need a work permit. Even when you enter Canada on a visitor visa, at the airport, an immigration officer will be asking you if you're planning to work while you're in Canada. You're gonna have to be really careful with your answers and be clear on what they consider as work in Canada, as you could be denied entry and sent on a flight back home right from there without even stepping foot outside the airport if your immigration officer is not satisfied with your answers. Now, what exactly can you term as work in Canada? Work in Canada is considered as any activity that you get paid for, either as a service or through commission. Whether skilled or unskilled, it doesn't matter. Sometimes though, an unpaid activity can also be considered as work if it competes directly with work that a Canadian citizen or permanent resident is also doing. So even if it's something that you do for free, but a Canadian citizen or permanent resident would have normally got paid if they did it, then that can also be considered as work and you would need a work permit even for that. A work permit is a document given by a visa officer to anyone who's outside Canada who's not a Canadian citizen or permanent resident to be able to work legally in Canada. Ideally, you would normally get your work permit after getting a job offer from a Canadian employer. Even if your employer or their main office branch is based outside Canada, but they have a branch in Canada, you'll still need a work permit to work at that particular branch in Canada. A work permit is usually restricted to a specific job, specific employer, and a time frame, which is your work permit duration, during which you'll be allowed to work. It's issued on the basis of an LMIA, which stands for Labor Market Impact Assessment, which is taken care of by your employer, or a job offer from an employer who's exempted from LMIA approvals. Now, there are certain rules that your employer also has to follow, especially in the case of LMIA applications. The offer of employment has to be genuine. It can't be a made-up position, so you can't just come to Canada and tell your relatives or friends to create a profile for you within their companies. The employer has to show that they are capable of paying your wages or salary, and there should be proper working conditions for the job in question. If your employer doesn't offer all these basic requirements, then they can even be barred from offering any future employment applications. Now, any job offer that's offered to a non-citizen or someone who's not a permanent resident needs to have a valid LMIA, which has to be filed by your employer. Through an LMIA application, your employer or company basically submits an application to the federal government, showing them that they've tried to recruit a Canadian citizen or permanent resident in Canada for a particular position, but they couldn't find such a person that would meet their requirements or skills needed for the job, so they're offering someone outside Canada the job to someone who's basically not a Canadian citizen or a PR holder. Anyone receiving a job offer from an employer should also receive a copy of the LMIA. Now, there are certain LMIA exempt job offers that an employer can also provide, and there are certain conditions under which an employer does not need to provide an LMIA. One of these conditions is that if you're already working for the employer for more than a year, then the employer does not have to go through an LMIA process for you to apply for a work authorization. Some of the LMIA exempt job offers fall under international agreements, interprovincial agreements, agreements with the federal government, or some of these offers may just be good for Canada's national interests. Now, who exactly can be eligible for a Canadian work permit? The premise of a work permit is you need to show a visa officer that you'll be able to work in Canada and you are willing to return back after the work authorization period is completed. So it should be of a temporary nature. If you show any signs or intentions to extend your stay after your work authorization period, that will not be taken lightly and you won't be granted your work permit. This is because work permits by nature are supposed to be temporary. That being said, you don't necessarily have to return back to your home country after your work permit expires if you don't want to. You can always apply for an extension of your work permit from inside Canada, or even apply for your PR while you're on your work permit in Canada. Next, you have to go through background checks and prove that you'll be abiding Canadian laws. If your stay is more than 6 months, you'll also have to go through a medical exam. There are also a few conditions that your visa officer may put on your particular work permit, which may be different for each individual based on their application, employer, and job profile. These conditions may include the actual employer that you'll be working for, the type of job that you'll be doing for that employer, the duration for which you can work, and a few factors like that which will depend on your profile. You'll need a temporary resident visa that can be stamped on your passport for your entry into Canada, and citizens of a few countries will also need an ETA, which is an electronic travel authorization. Now, you don't need to apply for either of the temporary resident visa or your ETA separately. When you apply for your work permit, the visa officer will issue you your temporary resident visa or your ETA. Now, another way that you can apply for your work permit is based on your education or study course in Canada. If you're enrolled in a full-time study program in Canada, say for your bachelor's or master's or PhD, which is a full-time program for at least 2 years, you'll be eligible for a postgraduate work permit or a PGWP. Your PGWP will be valid for up to 2 years. You can even apply for your PGWP from outside of Canada. So in situations where you may be taking online courses in your home country from a university or educational institution which is in Canada, you can apply for your PGWP after you complete your study course. Kindly note though, you'll need to apply for your PGWP within 180 days or 6 months of completing your study course. Your school or university will need to give you a document proving that you've completed your studies, and from that day onwards, you have 6 months to apply for your PGWP. Your family members like your spouse can also apply for a dependent work permit in this case at the same time that you're applying for your PGWP. Your children can also apply for their student permit at the same time that you're applying for your PGWP. Dependent children have to be under the age of 22 and they shouldn't be married. As I said earlier, you can submit all your dependent family members' applications at the same time as your work permit. If you're going to stay in Canada for more than 6 months, then you'll need to pass a medical examination. You can either take your medical exam beforehand and submit it with your work permit application, or you can take it later when the visa interview actually happens. Your biometrics, which is your fingerprints and photos, will also be collected at that time. If you have valid biometrics done in the last 10 years, you don't need to do it again because biometrics are valid for 10 years. Now let's look at what exact documents are needed for your work permit application. The work permit documentation list is the IMM 5488. I've listed the link for this list in the description box below so you can download the PDF document from there. There may be some supporting documentation required for your specific country from where you're applying from, But what I'm going to tell you today are the common list of documents which will be required regardless of where you're applying from right now. The first document is your proof of identity, which is your passport. You'll also need 2 photographs. The third is proof of employment. This is either done with LMIA, which is in most of the categories, or if it's an LMI exempt one, as I explained earlier, then you don't need an LMI approval and your offer of employment or job offer is enough. You also need to show proof that you're eligible to do the job in question. This can be proved by supporting documents like your certifications that you've obtained, for example, a nurse practitioner's license for registered nurses, or certain skilled trade certifications if you're a carpenter or mason or construction worker. Now, if you're bringing your family, that's your spouse and children, you'll need supporting documentation to prove your relationship with them, such as your marriage certificate or birth certificate. If you're not a citizen of the country where you're applying from, you'll need to provide proof of status for that particular country that you're in, like a valid visa from that particular country. Another important point to note is that since you'll be getting your certificates from your home country, depending if it's an English-speaking country or not, your certificates may need to be translated into English and you need to get them notarized. Remember that just having them translated is not going to be enough, you have to have them notarized. Now, the form that you need to fill to make an application for your work permit for Canada from outside of Canada is the IMM 1295. I've listed the link for this form in the description box below so you can download the PDF form from there. It's absolutely critical to be completely accurate in filling the set of forms, and you can fill these forms online. If a section is not applicable to you, don't just leave it blank, be sure to put an NA or not applicable wherever necessary. Now, each person needs to fill out an IMM 1295 separately. Even if it's your spouse applying for a dependent work permit along with you, they have to fill in their separate IMM 1295. The first question is a UCI, which is a Universal Client Identification Number. If you've dealt with or applied to IRCC in the past, you'll have this number. If you have not, then just write NA. The second question is which language you want service in. Select either French or English, whichever applies to you. Now, in the personal details section, the first question is your full name. It has to exactly match the name on your passport. Be sure not to put any abbreviations here. The next question is your nickname or aliases. If you've had any previous names that you've used before, you can put them here or just write NA. After this, enter in your sex and the exact date of birth as mentioned on your birth certificate. Next, your place of birth would need to be the same as mentioned on your birth certificate. Next, you would need to enter your country of citizenship. If you have multiple citizenships, then enter the country whose passport you would be using to enter into Canada. The next question would be your current country of residence and the residency status that you have in that particular country, like a work visa or student permit, permanent residency, etc. Question number 8 is if you've lived outside any country for more than 6 months other than where you have your citizenship in the past 5 years. So basically, if you've been to any other countries in the past 5 years for studies or for work or for both, then you need to specify that here. Question 9 is related to question 7, wherein you have to enter the country where you're applying from. So you can just tick on same as country of residence if that applies to you. Question number 10 is your current marital status. If you're married, enter the name and date on your marriage certificate. Question 11 is if you've been previously married, if you're divorced, or if you've had a previous common law partner for which you have to fill in their names and date of birth. The next set of questions is for your language, where you'll have to specify your primary language, secondary language, and if you can communicate in English or French, and if you've taken any English or French tests like the IELTS, CELPIP, TCF or TEF. Next, enter in your passport details and make sure that your passport isn't expired or isn't going to expire anytime soon. Next, you have to enter in your contact information like your current address, permanent residential address, and telephone numbers. The next set of questions are details of your intended work, which is the type of work visa you'll be applying for, which you have to enter really carefully based on whether it will be LMIA or LMIA exempt, open work permit or IEC, and then enter the details of your Canadian employer. Next, there'll be questions about your job, where your job will be located in Canada, what your job profile actually is, the job description, and details about your employment duration, which is an estimate for how long you'll have that particular job. You'll also need to enter the LMIA number here, which starts with A followed by 7 digits for jobs requiring an LMIA application. This number will be present on the LMIA document that your employer will give you. The next section is your education details. I highly recommend putting details of all the certificates that you have, all your diplomas, all your degrees, regardless if they are related to your job offer or not. The next set of questions is regarding your employment experience or your work history in the past 10 years. So you have to give details about your current job along with your work history in the past 10 years. All your job titles, job descriptions, joining dates, resignation dates, which countries you've been employed, and company names that you've worked for. The next set of questions is your background information section, in which you have to enter in your medical history, if you or anyone in your family have had any previous medical conditions, or if you've ever applied to Canada and been refused entry, or if you've been arrested before, and if you have any criminal history, if you've ever served in the police force or the military. Now do note that based on your answers to questions 3 to 6, you may be needed to fill out another form, which is the IMM 5257 Schedule 1, in which you need to provide further information on these points. Now immediately after you fill in your background information details, click on validate and you will get a barcode. Until you get your barcode, it is not a complete application. After getting your barcode, print out this PDF form with all the details entered and physically sign this form and enter in the date in the signature section. While submitting your application package, you have to make sure that the barcode page is the first page on top of your application package. So again, as a recap, you enter in all your details in the PDF form online and hit validate to get your barcode and print this out to physically sign it and enter in the date. Remember, as I said earlier, each family member has to fill in their own separate IMM 1295 forms. As you can see, filling out this form is so easy and you don't need any agent or consultant to do this for you. They would simply charge hundreds or thousands of dollars just to fill out this simple form that I just showed you. After filling out your form, you'll have to pay a fee to the IRCC. Now there's an application fee, there's an open work permit fee and a biometric fee. The application fee for each person is 155 Canadian dollars, including extensions it would be $465 and an extra $100 open work permit fee. The biometrics fee for each person is $85. Your processing fee and biometrics fee is non-refundable even if your work permit is rejected. You can pay all your fees online. After you pay your fees, you'll get a receipt and you can then apply for your work permit at your nearest Canadian visa center, where you'll have to hand over your passport, photographs and your application package, which would include your application forms and your supporting documents. Do remember to go through the documents checklist on IMM 5488 to make sure that you've included all the required documents in your application package. So now what happens next is you'll get a decision whether your application is accepted or rejected. If your application is accepted, you'll get an approval letter that says you're allowed to work in Canada. This letter is called the Port of Entry Letter of Introduction. You should bring this letter with you when you travel to Canada and present it at the port of entry or the airport. This letter is not your work permit. You'll only get your work permit at the port of entry on the day that you arrive in Canada. Your final work permit will outline the type of work that you can do, the employer you can work for, where you can work, and for how long you can work. Now the processing time depends on where you're applying from and what kind of work permit visa you're applying for. So guys, that was a step-by-step guide on how you can fill in your work permit application for Canada from outside Canada. If you found this video useful, do hit the like button and let me know any queries that you have in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe for regular updates on immigration and don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well. I wish you guys the best of luck for your application and hope you guys have a great day.